Everything you need is already inside of you. The world would not be what it is without you. When we begin to create change within us, we begin to create change in the world around us. Your journey to becoming your best self as the whole person starts right now.
Hello and welcome to our podcast. I'm Lauren Sweeney and I'm your host of the Become Your Best podcast and webinar series. Here at Rise Up For You, we are dedicated to supporting people, and we're going to do that through soft skills development and incredible conversations like the one we're going to have today. Ivan Estrada is local to me in Los Angeles, California, and he's an inspirational business leader and highly ranked real estate broker. He has tons of experience in the real estate and the finance industries. Today, we're going to talk all about thriving team building, about creating wealth. And it's really neat because he was selected to be in a special cohort of leaders for the Stanford University Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative. He's a sought after public speaker on the topics of branding, marketing, personal development, all things we, of course, talk about right here on the podcast. He produces a large portfolio of video content, including the popular YouTube series Real Estate Minute. So be sure to check that out. He has been featured on NBC's Open House, HGTV's House Hunters. Oh, my daughter loves that show. And Bravo's $1 Million Listing, as well as in New York Times, the LA Times, Forbes, Hollywood Reporter, and Dwell. He was named among the nation's top 30 under 30 in real estate with the National Association of Realtors. And today, he is going to cover everything we need to overcome self-doubt, limiting beliefs, shame, to build an authentic brand. Ivan, we're excited to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you, Lauren. That was quite the intro. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So talk with us. You know, you're in the real estate realm, you're in that niche, and you also probably teach all different industries how to build an authentic brand, because the process is the process, right? Of being
Exactly.
authentic.
No matter the industry, correct.
Exactly. Well, where does somebody begin? If they're listening, they're thinking, I need an authentic brand. Help me out, Ivan. Where should I start?
Well, most importantly is, like you said in your intro, is really listening to yourself, right? What is it that I want? What are the things that wake me up at night because I'm so excited to wake up in the next day, or the things that just really bring me passion and fire and purpose? I'll tell you from my experience, figuring out who your brand is becoming aware, right? Becoming aware of your passions, what your strong suits are, and also figuring out what are the things that I still need to work on, right? What are the things that I need to strengthen as a person? I have to be honest, meditation for me was probably step one. With the media, with so much information out there, someone had told me there's like 1,000 voices in your head yelling all at once. And it wasn't until I started to meditate that slowly I started to become very centered, and I started hearing this voice in my head, which took some time, but I realized I thought, this is me. This is me talking to myself or my higher power. And as I continued my journey of meditation and journaling, I started realizing all the answers to everything that I wanted in my life, my purpose, my passion, gratitude. It was all inside of me. I was the one who always sought out validation from others, and I would run certain ideas by 100 people when I knew the answers all along. They were all inside of me. So I think figuring out who you are authentically is by calming the noise. And the way to calm the noise is through meditation. That changed my life 5 years ago.
I love that. I didn't know we were going to go and start there. I did a practice this morning. I love that. idea of quieting the noise, because yes, we're listening to 10,000 voices like podcasts, news, people around us. Yes. And our own inner thoughts, 70,000 thoughts a day, and most are negative. So how do we even begin to build a brand and even look at what we're passionate about without first getting centered and not having to do it to please people? Do you find that as well? Like, oh, if I say this, they'll like it.
100%. No. So, being the people pleaser that I used to be, and I think it has to do with my culture as well. In the Mexican culture, you have to do what your elders tell you to do. You have to be very agreeable, because if you're not, then, you're reprimanded for that. So it took me a while to really be able to kind of stand up on my 2 feet and get my own voice and harness the power of having your own voice, because when you're building a brand, people want to know who you are, not what you want them to think that you are. And it's important through self-awareness to figure what that is. And that came through constant work on building my brand pillars, which I talk about in my book, Brand with Purpose. Figuring out, for me, it was building my 5 brand pillars of what I wanted people to remember when they met me. What were the things that I wanted people to say when I left the room about who I was as a person? And putting these brand pillars together really helped me harness that and really stick to my messaging and my voice. And also sometimes saying the things that you think might shake the ship a little bit, but knowing that it's coming from your heart, right? And some people will love it and some people won't. But the people who will love it, that's your clan, that's your tribe. And those end up being your, if you're in business as a brand, those end up being your customers, your cheerleaders.
Mm. I love that. I often will tell our clients with branding, what is it after you, when you're talking about getting fired up? What is it when you get off of a call or you get off of something and you're like, "Oh, I just got to call my friend. I got to call Ivan and tell him all about it." That's what I would tell. Hey, make a video about that. People want to like, know, and trust you. How do they do that when they feel connected to you, even in this social media way?
Exactly. And you just said like video, right? Video right now is such an important thing to connect with your audience, and not just about your wins, but also about the challenges and obstacles that you're facing. A lot of us connect through challenging times, and being very open and vulnerable with your audience will really open them up to be vulnerable with you and really strengthen those connections between you and your social media followers or your employees, your customer base. So that's very, very important.
Let's talk about that one for a minute. A lot of times I think people worry about, do I be too open? What kind of criticism will I get? Should I have a business page and then a private personal page? What are your thoughts on that?
So regarding the personal page and business page, I strongly feel that a brand, you are the brand. um, I feel like you should only have one page, and that one page should broadcast your message from what you do at work and your value, um, your family, what you like to do for fun, your philanthropic side, your fun side. I think it has to be a variety of, I would tell people, I'm like a Rubik's Cube, right? You have different colors on different sides, but it's still one Rubik's Cube, right? You have your red side and your green side and your red side and your yellow side. And so, it's important to show how multifaceted you are to your audience. And when you separate your business and your personal, why people work with me is because of the personal, because there's something that they connect with, of either my belief system or what I do philanthropically, or they like the fact that I'm very family oriented and very creative. So I think it's very important to just have it all just in one little place, not 2 different places, because then again, having 2 different social medias and 2 different everythings, one, it's a lot of work, right? You have to be
Right.
able to put in the effort. When you could
Yeah.
just throw it all at once, I think it's a lot easier. And personally, I have found great success from it. And a lot of my colleagues in all different types of businesses do that, from dentists to therapists to real estate agents to designers to musicians. They they show it all, and it really shows in their connection to their audience base.
I love that. Okay, so we've got the basics, finding our authentic self first, meditating or having some kind of practice or journaling something. Then what's the next step, or what's the next thing that you would go into?
So the next step is putting that plan together. So once you figure out, you do some meditation, you go inside, you figure out who you want to be as a person, what your voice is, then it's time to put the plan together, right? And this brand, it could be your business brand, your personal brand. Putting that plan into paper with goals, measurable goals, is incredibly important. For example, I was one who didn't really believe that if I wrote down a number or a goal of how many clients or transactions or certain things that I wanted to do, not just business or personal, on a wall where I could see it every single day, that would really help me get there much faster, or actually make it come into fruition. Um, I, at this day now, put all my numbers, personal and business goals, all up in my wall, so that I can look at them every single day. So it pushes me to go forward and to do the things that make me feel uncomfortable, and to challenge myself every single day, because those challenges are what give me the grit to get from the
Mhm.
next phase in my career. So really putting a plan together, putting your goals together. And I've always told people, don't get caught up on how am I going to get there. Just put your goal. This is what I want. And for some reason, the universe, I don't know how this works, right? It just starts throwing these little things at you, little signals, opportunities present themselves, as long as you put out the intention of what you want to do and where you want to go.
Absolutely. Oftentimes, our CEO, Netta, and I will say, "Oh, this great thing happened today." And then one of us, or sometimes both of us, will say, "I wrote that in my journal today. I knew that was going to happen."
It's insane, right? I think it's like, frequency and the way, the universe is a place that I have not that much of an understanding, but I accept it for what it is. And there's something out there that just, like you said, it could be in a journal, or writing it on a board and just seeing it every day, where your reticular activating system just kind of figures out, how do we do it? How do we get there? Who do we talk
Yeah,
to? What are the steps? It's magic.
I
World's
love it.
magic.
What inspired you to write the book?
So, what inspired me to write the book was, the last decade of my life has been incredibly life changing. I've had a lot of mentors in my life, which I call my wizards, who came when I needed them the most, who were there to help me get to the next phase of my life and of my career. And I thought, how do I get this out to as many people as possible? Because I'm the type of guy who, when I learn something that is truly life changing, I call my sister, I call my friends, I tell my staff. Like, I want to tell as many people as possible. And when I see the light kind of shine in their eyes, thinking, oh my God, that's incredible, I want to do that, and I see the result, that really, like, that's part of my purpose. Like, that brings me to life, that I was able to do that for them. And I thought, how can I really get this out to as many people as possible, especially youth? Because this book is, it's for it's for a new entrepreneur. It could be for that, uh, you know, mom who's looking to pivot out of her cubicle job. She's done with that, and she wants something new in her life, and start her own baking business. But it's also for that teen, for that 20 something who's trying to figure out what they want in their life. Do I want to be a lawyer because my parents said I had to be a lawyer? Or do I really just want to go and be a musician because that's what brings me to life. That's my purpose and passion. So I just thought, how can I get this out to as many people as possible? And writing the book, and of course the podcast and my courses, is the perfect way to do that. And I've already been seeing a lot of feedback from students, that I've been speaking to on a weekly basis, and it's mind blowing, to say the least. Like, it's very life changing.
Uh, I love that. I want to bring up the question of having like a personal counsel. We talk about this a lot at Rise Up For You, and you talked about quieting your own mind so you can actually hear your authentic voice. What if sometimes you don't really know the authentic voice? What do you think about curating a purposeful kind of tribe around you?
That is amazing advice. So I have two different masterminds. I have my mastermind, like for example, I'm in the real estate industry. That's one of the industries that I'm in. I
Yeah.
have a real estate mastermind that I meet with monthly. In this mastermind, we talk about these are the great things that are working for me in my business and also in my mindset, right? Because the world is in such unease that it's all about staying positive and figuring out solutions instead of kind of fixating on the problems. And then we also talk about anything personal that's going on in our lives. I belong to this other group. It's called EO, and we have forums. And in these forums, we're all CEOs of different industries, different companies, where we come in with, for example, our own case study of a challenge that we're going through, where we think we know what the answer is, but we're not 100% sure. And obviously, you have different people with different perspectives, different levels of education and experience, where they will be able to reinforce that I'm either going in the right direction or that I need to kind of put the brakes on things and go in a different direction. So, I in the book I call them my board of directors.
Mhm.
I have my informal board of directors, which are some of my friends. I've learned the hard way that, asking advice for people who don't understand, for example, the industry that you're in or the level of, for example, I'm a business owner, so I can't be asking certain friends of mine who are not business owners for advice because they don't understand, right? It's not apples to apples. So having a group where you can really be able to be vulnerable and present any challenges or obstacles or plans and be able to really like your program to help rise up, right? Like that's
Yeah.
what it's all about. Like you can't do anything on your own. I've realized that, and I did realize that at a very young age, that in order to rise up, you have to rise up together, right? The power is in numbers. That's what helps you feel like you're not alone in this world. And so having a group that you can trust, that has your best interest in mind is crucial in success.
Mm, I love that. Let's talk with them about how they can contact you, what they'll find on your website, and how to get your book.
Absolutely. So the easiest way to contact me, so I have my website, ivanestrada.com. That's where you can find my book, Brand with Purpose, and also my course, Brand with Video. So this course is for entrepreneurs, creatives, anyone who wants to start producing video for their personal brand, their service brand, if they have a certain product, but they're not very comfortable in front of the camera. They have certain fears. They don't know how to build a marketing calendar. They don't know how to get from step A to step Z of the process. This course, unlike any other course, will help you get there. It gets you out of your fear. It gets you out of your way. It helps you put a plan. And you're also getting evaluations on your videos and on your progress as
Mm,
you're going through the course. So that way, you can see your progress and you're actually getting better. It's very interactive. It took me 2 years
mm,
to write this. And after our last beta test, we will be launching this in the next 30 to 45 days. And then there's also my podcast, Brand with Podcast, where we talk about everything branding. And if you need a realtor in Los Angeles, I also sell real estate, and it's
You're the
all on
guy.
ivanestrada.com.
Oh, I love that. It's really neat too that the course is interactive and that you give feedback because that type of is key, right? And we do that in a
Absolutely.
live version, that type of coaching feedback. We don't always know our own blind spots.
Exactly. And that's why it was so important for me of not
Yeah.
just producing content where people could take notes. They can't get, they won't know if they're actually improving until they get some feedback, right? If there's something that you're doing that may be kind of putting a wall between you and your audience, like we help you along the way. So that way, when you're done with the course, like you feel confident and you feel ready to go and you've got a plan.
Oh, I love that. Well, Ivan, we love to kind of ask a closing question, and that is, what does Rise Up For You mean to you?
uh, rise up to me means, we're all on this together, right? No one could rise up on their own. Just like I said, you need a team, right? It could be your family. It could be your close, tight knit friends. It could be your employees. It could be people around you who are supporting a cause. And for me, when you help other people rise up, you rise up as well, right? We're all in it
Mhm.
together, and that's what it means to me.
Mm, I love that. Thank you for the great work you're doing and to be willing to be vulnerable and to expand, not just taking care of real estate customers, but then other real estate agents to brand. And now, really, any entrepreneur in the whole space of what it means to be authentic.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me to do that. And like I said, it's part of my purpose. And I feel like this is just the beginning. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Ivan. I love that. All things branding, authenticity, finding your voice. Well, it's my pleasure to be your host today as the vice president here at Rise Up for You. If you are looking for a little bit of power, confidence, perhaps some public speaking support or leadership, text us the word power to 949-416-0671. And you can join our power coaching program for as low as $149 a month. I'm Lauren, and we'll see you next time on the podcast.